We now return to Motor City Burning, a special presentation of WILS News.
While the happenings were festive on the east side, by lunchtime on Sunday, the 12th Street crowd had become a violent roving mob, swelling to nearly 9,000. Around this time, Hubert Locke called Commissioner Girardin and informed him that 12th Street was, quote, a lost cause, unquote. Amazingly, it would be another 2 hours before city officials would ask for state police assistance, and another 4 hours before Mayor Kavanaugh would ask Governor George Romney to dispatch the National Guard to Detroit. Like Officer X, Tactical Mobile Unit Officer Thomas Novak also recalled being idle for much of Sunday.
They kept us in the garage. They didn't let us on the street, and the day shift was parked in the garage. None of the fire vehicles were out on the street. They were just waiting. We had orders to lay low.
And how long were you forced to lay low?
Well, I got in maybe 1 o'clock or so in the afternoon. The day shift never hit the street. They didn't let us hit the street till, I want to say, 6, 7 o'clock at night. They moved us to a school on the west side of Detroit, taking a backwards route so that we were kept out of sight. Because we were the gaudy blue and white cars, we were the riot squad.
Over on Kenilworth, J.D. Ross saw the looting accelerate quickly.
But then we started sitting up there and hearing more things breaking in. I mean, more people start coming. I'm like, where are these people coming from, you know? And and then it wasn't any police out there. So I'm like, man. And the next thing we knew, we heard on the radio that the mayor was stopping the movement of traffic in the city. That traffic was stopped, so we couldn't go back home. And I know my mother was calling like frantic because they say this stuff is breaking out all over the city now. You know, I'm thinking it started right there, but it's like it just started breaking out. And I couldn't, it just like a wildfire just started, it took off. Every situation where they had stores, it was on.
The people, the lack of cops, and the temptation soon became too much for the three teenagers to ignore.
We see all these people, and they were just grabbing stuff. So I'm sitting there, I looked at my cousin, I said, look, so man, we can make some money. You know, so my mind now, at 15, and me and my cousin, like, let's go get paid. Let's get paid. So we thinking, okay, we're going to hit people who's going to supermarkets getting stuff. They was getting anything they want. We got in there, went to the supermarket, and we went straight to the meat department and got the steaks. We put all the steaks in these little baskets, and we wheeled them out to the side. Now here's the situation. You got all these people out here that started going and getting things, but now you got people they were driving their cars. They don't want to steal because they figure in the conscience, but they'll ask you, well, what you want to sell it to me for? So when we got these steaks and we put them up to the corner, and these people pull up, well, what you got? We said, we got some steaks. Say, well, how much you want for them? Well, how much you got?
In the early hours of July 23rd, as the police department was told to stand down and let the rioters have their way, the officers' anger grew. Michigan State Trooper Craig Grunow, who had arrived at Detroit's 1st Precinct from Flint Sunday afternoon, recalled one veteran Detroit cop's comments.
The one made a statement to me referring to the black people. We've been taking their shit for a long time, and now we're going to get even.
Grunow recalled the chaos that filled the 1st Precinct, as well as the less than important first assignment that he and his state police partner were given.
Well, our first assignment, if you can believe this or not, was they put us with a guy. He almost had his time in to retire, and they put 3 of us in an old Detroit Police Department patrol car, and we were supposed to guard the J.L. Hudson building by driving around the block. This fellow that we were assigned to at that period of time didn't want to rock anybody's boat. He didn't want to do anything wrong. He found determined he was going to drive around the J.L. Hudson building until they told us not to.
Car 54, where are you?
With the escalation in numbers and attitude, the 12th Street mob began to now turn on the city's fire department, who had been sent into the area to put out the many fires that were now raging up and down 12th Street. They pelted the firemen with rocks and other foreign objects as the fires spread westward to Linwood Avenue Sunday afternoon. In addition, Officer X and his fellow Detroit police officers had decided that they had had enough.
And we're ducking in these doorways, and at one point we just said, that's enough. You know, the next time they bend down to pick some up, we're charging. I remember some guys had clubs, some guys had tire irons, one guy had a carjack. That's what we had. And I remember seeing this one guy, he was running for home, and this cop was after him. He had the whole jack in his hand. And as that guy was reaching for his door, he hit him in the head, and this guy's head went like a watermelon. And that was that. I don't know if that guy lived or died. But at that point, we were just about defending ourselves.
Amazingly, Thomas Novak and his fellow TMU officers remained in reserve until dinner time Sunday evening.
In this caged-in area, there was some big crates that says made in France. And I know the comment was made by someone that there's our surrender flags. And we laughed about it, but that's the way we felt about it. Because they were keeping us, the riot squad, off of the street.
Motor City Burning, a special presentation of WILS News, will continue in a moment.